Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of The Danny Show. I'm your host, Daniel Cody. This is where I give commentary and reviews on all things wrestling. So, thank you guys so much for joining. Today, I want to do something a little bit special. You see, the other day, we had four great birthdays being Shannon Moore, Nick Nemeth, known as Dolph Ziggler, and of course, we had Triple H. But there was one person that I never got a chance to do a review on, and that was Hangman Adam Page. And I know this is a little bit late, but I really wanted to do that. So let's go on and give a belated birthday present to Hangman Adam Page with a cowboy video. I don't say the quote that you guys want me to say, but let's do some cowboy stuff. Or should I say Cowboy Talk? That's the new word on this channel. It will be known as Cowboy Talk. So, in honor of the All Elite Wrestling Champion, two-time, I believe, I would like to give you my top 10 favorite Adam Page matches. First, we will start with Adam Page versus Adam Cole. This match took place at AEW Revolution 2022, and this match was for the AEW World Championship, which Adam Page was defending. What I found kind of fun about this match is that the fans were chanting, "Let's go, Adam." But both men were named Adam Cole versus Adam Page. So I guess this was their way of saying both these guys. And so that match was good. We saw them bring out their best moves and a couple of near falls as well. We even saw them use the Undertaker's move. Fun fact, at AEW Revolution 2022, which I thought was pretty good, by the way, we saw a lot of people using the Undertaker's finisher, and we saw the Undertaker's move being done in this match as well. But in the end, it was Adam Page who retained the championship against Adam Cole. Speaking of Adam Cole, my thoughts and prayers are with Adam at this time as he is recovering, I don't know, from illness or injury, but I wish Adam Cole the best. Next on this list, we go 3 years later into AEW's Revolution 2025. On this list, at number 9, we have Adam Page versus MJF, the bane of AEW's existence. I mean, for a minute, I began to like this guy after he did that pipe bomb in California in the summer of 22. But just, he's back to being the guy that we can't stand. But in any event, and he does it pretty well sometimes. But in any event, and by the way, he's still not getting well with the Hurt Business. So this match came about because MJF could not understand why fans still like Adam Page, despite the fact that he burnt the man's house down, stuck a needle in someone's mouth, and hit him in the head with a steel chair, which I thought was an actually good unsanctioned match, but a lot of people thought it was controversial. But in any event, by the way, that promo package for this match was awesome. For those of us who played SmackDown versus Raw 2007, you probably noticed that they played Bullet with a Name by Nonpoint, which I thought was awesome. However, speaking of Nonpoint, Adam Page took MJF that night straight to the pain. And, of course, won this match. First of all, let me just say, I don't know what this little grindy move that MJF does where he grinds himself on people's faces. That's gross. Adam Page wasn't having it. He beat MJF and humbled the unhumbled Maxwell Friedman. Next on this list at number 8, we go to the dark side of Adam Page when he faced Christopher Daniels in a Texas death match. I forgot which date was, but I know if you look up the Texas death match between Christopher Daniels and Adam Page, you will find those two in AEW. They fought. We saw tables wrapped in barbed wire. We saw blood. We saw Christopher Daniels bleed. And fun fact, if I'm not mistaken, Adam Page is the master of the Texas Death Match, and I think he has only one blemish, and that was to a man I will mention later. But in this match, he is the master, and he proved it when he beat Christopher Daniels by a 10 count, last man standing. Because in this match, you only win by submission or not answering the 10 count. Adam Page won by last man standing tactics, but it wasn't enough because he came back and finished Adam Page, no, Christopher Daniels, with his own finishing move because Adam Page was somewhat mixed on heel at the time. Next on this list at number 7, we have the Golden Elite, which involved Hangman Adam Page, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks taking on the Blackpool Combat Club's Cesaro, the man Pac, the illegitimate son Pac, and some of Don West's people, who I can't necessarily pronounce their names that well yet, but I know them by faces. However, this was at Blood and Guts 2023. I believe this was also an episode of AEW Dynamite. And this match was a little bit like WWE's version of War Games. And in this match, we saw Pac walk away from the fight, unevening the odds for the BCC club, which would give the Golden Elite team an advantage. And poor Willem Muta, because Adam Page and I believe Kenny Omega both took part in choking him out for the victory. Let me just say, Willem Muta is always taking mess for the Blackpool Combat Club. Just poor guy. Sometimes I feel bad for him that he is being beaten to stay within the cult. I just never understood why he stayed loyal to something. Edge tried to talk sense into him, but didn't work. Next at number 6, we have Adam Page versus Swerve Strickland at Wrestle Dream 2024 of last year. This was a match that, even though Swerve Strickland was a heel at the time, he was over with the crowd, and he was perfectly over with the crowd in Tacoma, Washington, because that was near home to Seattle, where Swerve is originally from. So the fans were really gravitating towards him. And of course, this was a losing effort for Hangman Adam Page, much thanks to the fact that there was a match it was an interference by, his manager using the crown. Excuse me. Next on this list at number 5, we have Adam Page versus Bryan Danielson at Winter is Coming, December 15th of 2021. This was supposed to be a match for the AEW World Championship as Adam Page defended against the new coming Bryan Danielson. However, this match was great. The only problem was they didn't get to finish the match because as Adam Page was going for the buckshot clothesline, he was about to make the pin and probably win the match. However, time ran out and we didn't get the finish. However, they would face off again in a rematch where Adam Page was successful at winning and retaining his AEW championship. Next on this list at number 4, we have Adam Page versus Kenny Omega at Full Gear 2021 for the AEW World Championship. At the time, Kenny Omega was the World Heavyweight Champion, and if you can believe this, Hangman Adam Page was faced. That's not the surprising part. The surprising part is Kenny Omega was the bad guy at the time, and this match was for the championship with Don West. By the way, Don, your theme sounds like a succubus subliminal. And he was the manager. And here's the thing. There are certain managers that you will never trust to be babyface. Don West will never be a babyface manager. Just like Paul Heyman, the dummy, I can't say dumb A word, but Paul Heyman, the dummy, will never be for too long at least, a babyface manager. Just like Bobby the Brain Heenan, God rest his soul, was a pro heel manager, and I believe Freddie Blassie, I believe was his name. You pencil neck geek was a heel manager as well. And Don West will be in the category of managers that are only their best when they're heel. Nonetheless, this match itself was good. One of the highlights was Adam Page crossbodying Kenny Omega from the outside onto a table. That was awesome. The Young Bucks, who got their butts kicked earlier that night, would come out and they looked like they were about to interfere, but they would not interfere, which would allow Hangman Adam Page to go for the buckshot lariat after having so many near falls in this match. Buckshot lariat wins the match, and Adam Page is the world champion, and the Dark Order, who he was also associated with at the time, would be out to celebrate with him. Plus, I had the pleasure of reviewing that night. Now we go to number 3. We have Will Ospreay versus Adam Page at the recent AEW Double or Nothing. And this match was for the Owen Hart Cup Championship. This match was awesome. There was a part of the match where we did not know if they were going to continue due to the fact that they gave way to the announce table, much like Kurt Angle and Triple H did at SummerSlam 2000. However, they got up and they finished the match, and the match was awesome. And anytime you get Will Ospreay in a match, you can almost guarantee it is going to be gold. It is going to be between 4.75 to 5 star with Will Ospreay. And this match did not disappoint at all. In the end, Adam Page won the match, which means he won the Owen Hart Cup tournament. However, after the match, he showed well-deserved respect to Will Ospreay. Because Adam Page won the Owen Hart Cup tournament, much like the King of the Ring tournament in WWE, most people who win that match officially become number one contender for their respective brand's world champion. And this was no different with Owen Hart, who ironically was King of the Ring at one time. Because Adam Page won, he is immediately number one contender for the next championship match at number 2. We have Mox versus Adam Page at AEW's All in Texas from this year. And fun fact, this match reminded me so much of the Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns match at last year's WrestleMania, because we saw interference from the Blackpool Combat Club, but we also saw interference from Will Ospreay, Swerve Strickland of all people, and we even saw interference from the returning Bryan Danielson, whom the Blackpool Combat Club had put on the shelf thanks to Jon Moxley. But with all of those interferences, in the end, it would be Adam Page who would win this match. Watch this. The same way he defeated Moxley the first time they had a Texas death match. This was a Texas death match in Texas. But the last time these two met in a Texas death match, Jon Moxley tapped out due to the fact that there was a chain around his neck. The same way he won this match to win for the second time the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. The final match on this list at number 1 and is a very elite, pun intended, match, because this match was for the AEW Tag Team Championships at AEW's Revolution 2020 before the pandemic started. We have two halves of the elite colliding, and it would be the Young Bucks versus Kenny Omega and Adam Page. This match was for the AEW Tag Team Championships, and I have to say, I think the Young Bucks are huge Undertaker fans because they deliver a tombstone in a way that reminds me of what Kane and the Undertaker did together. So much so that this finisher was called the Indie Taker. Isn't that crazy? So, yes, Adam Page survived an Indie Taker tombstone on the outside of the ring, may I add. He would go on to make the pinfall for his team, and though the Young Bucks tried to show sportsmanship, Adam Page wasn't really feeling, Kenny was, but Adam Page wasn't really feeling the Young Bucks at the time. Obviously, he knew that in this day and age, they would turn into a bunch of EVPs that no one liked. By the way, their entrance on the first Dynamite after this past All in Texas was hilarious, and Justin Roberts really helped the introduction because they are no longer EVPs. But by the way, this tag team match at Evolution was voted 6 stars. So if you have not seen this tag match, be sure to check it out. In the meantime, I'm your host, Ian Cody. Let me know what your favorite Adam Page match was. Until next time, have a great week, everyone.